Week 7 of the English Premier League is in the books. I'm Eric Avasar, and I'm here to take you through all the action and let you know how it all went down. Starting things off on Friday, Everton hosted Crystal Palace at Goodison Park, and the two teams ended up playing to a 1-1 draw. Romelu Lukaku proving that it is not just Ross Barkley who can make big things happen from set pieces. He scored a beautiful free kick goal in the first half in the 35th minute. However, in the second half, Christian Benteke once again showing that he is ready to make good on the huge investment that Crystal Palace took on him, scoring a header early in the second half, really just continuing his goal-scoring ways and proving himself to be one of the top strikers in the Premier League, even after his unsuccessful stint at Liverpool. There is no denying that he is a top striker. On Saturday, the early game was Liverpool traveling up to Wales to take on Swansea. And, really in the first half, Swansea dominated play, completely controlled possession, suffocated an uninspired Liverpool with their high press, giving the Reds a taste of their own medicine and scoring off of a Leroy Fair finish. Leroy Fair now with 4 goals in the season, a crucial player for Swans. And, however, Liverpool, whatever Jurgen Klopp said at halftime, it worked. The Reds came out with the passion, the hunger, desire, controlling the ball, controlling play, and it paid off with Roberto Firmino's poacher's finish off of a cross from Jordan Henderson, and then James Milner showing himself to be Mr. Reliable from the penalty spot. 4-4 on the season, pulling the Andrea Pirlo that chip down the middle. Beautiful sight to see. So Liverpool pulling out the 2-1 win, getting Swansea's manager Francesco Guidolin sacked, and now Swansea's new manager is Bob Bradley, a fascinating hire, the first American soccer coach in one of the big 5 leagues of Europe. I will talk about that more later in a separate episode. Now, later on Saturday, Watford took on AFC Bournemouth. These are two teams that I like watching play. In terms of lower table teams that will be in the relegation battle, visually appealing football. Callum Wilson scored in the 31st minute to open things up, getting his effort just past Aurelio Gomez. Watford's Troy Deeney scored his 99th goal for the club, came so close to scoring his 100th. Really, whenever you score that many goals at one club, you're going to become a hero. I'm sure Deeney has a massive amount of respect amongst the Watford supporters. Now, Joshua King took Bournemouth to get a 2-1 lead after he scored in the 62nd. However, that did not end up being the match winner. There was no match winner because it ended in a draw. Isaac Success. Yes, you heard me right. His name is Isaac, last name Success. Success. Bagged the equalizer in the 65th minute, and that game ended in a 2-2 draw. Hull City taking on Chelsea. The Tigers are continuing to fizzle after such a hot start to the EPL season. Robert Snodgrass came so very close to giving the Tigers an early lead, but Thibaut Courtois made one of the best saves you will see, really stopping the ball going against his body going one way, his hand reaching out to make a powerful stop. And really, Chelsea turned it on in the second half. 2 kind of similar goals. Willian, took the ball, took a few touches, and made a brilliant finish into the upper right corner. Costa, I believe, was a first-time attempt. Didn't need to do as much work with the ball before setting it up. And he sent another effort as well into the upper right corner. So Chelsea taking care of business, a crucial result for the Blues. A loss in this match would have meant crisis mode. So Conte seems to have this team in the right direction. However, they have defensive issues that cannot be solved with just dropping Branislav Ivanovic or Marcos Alonso. That may be a step in the right direction. We'll see where Chelsea takes it from here. West Ham United, clearly the biggest disappointment in the Premier League thus far after such a fantastic year last year. Slaven Bilic perhaps showing that he is not the manager that people make him out to be. It is unacceptable from West Ham's point of view to keep suffering results like this. playing at the Olympic Stadium to a 1-1 draw against Middlesbrough. Now, Christian Stuani scored in the 51st minute. He is a quality player. But, the most beautiful goal of the weekend, clearly, hands down, Dimitri Payet's effort, taking the ball down from the wing, dribbling past five Middlesbrough defenders, embarrassing, humiliating them all, and taking out Victor Valdez for good measure, too. A 1-1 draw there. Again, like I said, not the result West Ham were looking for. If West Ham were to get relegated, you could perhaps call Dimitri Payet the only world-class player to get relegated. Last match of the day on Saturday was Sunderland versus West Bromwich Albion. Nasser Chadli enjoying life. There is life after Tottenham. He had a brilliant first touch to set up the opening goal in the 35th minute and a cool finish as well. But the real excitement at the Stadium of Light came in the 83rd minute when Patrick van Aanholt, who, like I've said before, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, scored the equalizer in the 83rd minute. A crucial point for what is at this point a sorry Sunderland side. You wonder if they're going to make that Houdini act at the end of the season to save themselves from relegation. Now, looking at Sunday's action, play opened up with Manchester United against Stoke City, and while Jose Mourinho was happy with the performance that Manchester United put on, he could not be happy with the result. Man U playing to a 1-1 draw at home against Stoke City. Another one of those head-scratching results. Paul Pogba missed two terrific opportunities and took out his anger on Joe Allen with a very dirty play on him off the ball. Was not penalized for it. I guess that's what happens when you make the big money move. You get away with things. But at any rate, it was Joe Allen who had the last laugh. While Anthony Martial scored the first goal in the 69th minute, Joe Allen was in the right place at the right time as the ball came off the crossbar and bounced for him to blast a close range finish, equalizing at 1-1 in the 82nd, and that proved to be the last goal. Really, Lee Grant of Stoke City was the player of the weekend in the Premier League. Some of his saves were absolute beauties, especially one, I thought, in the second minute off of an effort from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Now, Tottenham-Manchester City was the marquee matchup of the weekend. A lot of hype going into this one. Two teams that were probably a little bit wary from Champions League play earlier in the week. Tottenham played on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Man City played on Wednesday. Perhaps that made a difference. But at any rate, it was the Spurs who came out on top with a massive result to galvanize the fans at White Hart Lane, winning 2-0. A real howler of an own goal from Alexander Kolarov in the 9th minute, and Spurs just really built off that momentum. Their attacking play, their pressing, the Pochettino press has been absolutely immense. Song Heung-min is a perfect player for that system. His movement, his energy is absolutely terrific. He's really helping to hold down the fort in Harry Kane's absence. He assisted Dele Alli's goal in the 37th minute. While there were no goals scored in the second half, it was clear that Tottenham were the better team in this one. Man City's cracks were exposed in their 3-3 draw earlier in the week at Celtic. Perhaps that gave the Spurs some confidence, but regardless, huge result for Tottenham. Disappointment for Man City, but they remain top, and deservedly so. Leicester City and Southampton, amongst the smaller clubs in the Premier League, two of my favorites. Surprised that they played to a 0-0 draw, considering how much attacking talent is on both sides. So, really, just a goalless draw, not much to speak about there. Burnley versus Arsenal. Many people were talking about this game because of the controversial finish. Some people think the full-time whistle should have been blown when the epic, controversial, game-winning goal for Arsenal was scored off of Laurent Koscielny. Looked like a clear handball. From what I've read, officiating experts seem kind of split on whether or not that goal should have been allowed to stand. But at any rate, the result will stand. Arsenal 1, Burnley 0. Definitely a hard pill to swallow for Burnley, who worked so hard for that point at the Turf Moor. But for Arsenal, a massive result considering that they are going to be in for a huge fight, as will every side, for a top four place. Now, let's take a look at the table. Things are starting to distance themselves a little bit more here early in the season. Manchester City, no longer perfect. Through 7 games, they have 18 points. Tottenham, now second with 17 points. Arsenal and Liverpool each have 16 points. Arsenal is ahead of Liverpool in the table off of a 1 goal differential difference. They have a plus 9 goal differential. Liverpool at 8. Everton stands at 5th with 14 points. Manchester United has 13, while Chelsea also has 13. Man U ahead on goal differential 5-3. Crystal Palace at 8th, the last team with double-digit points. They have 11. West Brom with 9, as does Southampton. Meanwhile, Watford, Leicester, Bournemouth each have 8 points. Burnley and Hull each have 7. Middlesbrough have 6. Swansea are out of the relegation zone only on goal differential. They have 4 points, while West Ham is currently in the drop zone at 18th with 4 as well. Stoke City with 3. Not the start you would expect for them considering all the talent they have. Stoke City standing at 19th, and then last and least, Sunderland with 2. Time will tell. Like I said, if Sunderland can avoid relegation once again, it's amazing how they've stayed up for this long. But, now we're heading into the international break. Obviously, I am incredibly excited for Manchester United and Liverpool at Anfield on Monday Night Football. So until next time, Premier League fans, I'm Eric Avasar. Enjoy.